Hi, this is the Blue Cobra. Let's talk politics. I want to start today with the Republican National Convention last night. It was, frankly, laughable, and I certainly got more laughs out of it than was really necessary. Sarah Palin, this newcomer to the political scene, made her acceptance speech to a simply adoring crowd of Republican delegates, most of whom I can't pass up mentioning were wearing cowboy hats. Hate to break it to you guys, but there are no more cowboys. You're too late. Anyway, her speech touched on issues ranging from energy to reform to Barack Obama, and her attacks on him were badly misplaced. First she compared her job as a mayor of Wasilla to his job as a community organizer with an amusing attack line something like this, and I quote, "I guess being mayor of a small town is kind of like being community organizer, just with actual responsibilities." Something like that. And I couldn't wait to get to my mic today because that attack is just so absurd. You cannot compare the administrative political job of mayor to the purely voluntary rallying work you do as a community organizer. There's prestige to being a mayor. There's no prestige in being a community organizer. Obama took that job purely out of his desire to better people's lives. Palin, on the other hand, no doubt took her job as mayor for reasons that weren't quite so charitable. Now, speaking of Palin's mayoral career, I want to share with you some of the more recent information about that stint. First of all, she apparently put that town $20 million in debt. Now, I don't know how this is not getting more media coverage. I can understand a deficit on a statewide level as a governor of a state. I mean, most states are in a deficit. But it is difficult to manage. I can't comprehend the sheer lack of competency it would take to put a town of less than 7,000 people that far in debt. That's $3,000 in debt per person. Wow. Just wow. And also, she supported the bridge to nowhere before she opposed it. She really has to stop pursuing that is indicative of her reformative politics. She isn't a maverick, and John McCain isn't either. Mavericks do not blindly follow their party, and I cannot stress this enough. McCain has supported George W. Bush 95% of the time. Now, I understand supporting the president, but that's putting a whole new extreme to that concept. And I just don't know what to say to this. He is not a maverick. He should stop putting out ads calling him the original maverick. And surrogates should stop pursuing that because they know it's not true. And speaking of surrogates, Mitt Romney the other day on Fox News, supporting McCain, I mean, he just had so much good stuff to say about the guy. And I couldn't help but think back to those beautiful days where he and McCain were cutting each other's throats and leaving us liberals to watch and laugh. And those were the good days, really. I'm sure you all agree. Except for conservatives, if you're listening. Now, on a brighter note, Barack is on the O'Reilly factor tonight. I admit when I first heard he was going on there, I was pretty upset. I was pleased that he was giving that biased piece of shit the cold shoulder. I thought it was about time someone did. But the more I think about it, and I've been thinking about it a lot, because I'm a loser, it's probably a good thing he's going on there. I hope he decimates O'Reilly in their debates, whatever topics they discuss, and all the attacks placed against him, which he did so well in his speech. And I can't wait to see McCain's speech tonight, because, I mean, he is not a good speech maker. I think we all know that. Even Republicans have to admit, when he's making a speech, it reminds me of my grandfather, telling me about, walking 15 miles to school in the cold weather and 3 miles of snow. 3 miles of snow. 3 feet of snow. I know. I'm tired. And the fact is, Barack Obama gave an incredible speech. It put him 10 points ahead of McCain in the polls. And he attacked McCain hard, but he also defended himself. He inspired his base. McCain has a lot to live up to. I mean, he even has to live up to Palin. And it's never good when you have to live up to your vice president as a speechmaker. It should be the other way around. It has been in the past, and that's just the way it should be. And I am looking forward to seeing all the polls coming out after his speech, because I want to see if he gets a bounce. And I will predict to you here and now, confidently, that he won't. He will not see a bounce. Because his base right now in the polls is as big as it will ever be. Nobody's going to support a Republican who supports the failed policies of the past, except for Republicans, and a few independents who think he's a maverick still. And I'm doing all I can to stop that image because I hate when people tell lies to the electorate. Like I said in my last episode, if there's one thing I cannot stand, it's a politician who changes his principles just to win. But anyway, about O'Reilly. I pray he doesn't take the next step and go on to Sean Hannity's program. Please, God, spare us that pain at least. That guy is so terrible. I was listening to him on the XM radio the other day. And XM radio is an outrage, by the way. I plan to talk about that some other time. I will say now that the point of radio is it's free, okay? You don't charge $10 a month to listen to radio, no matter how good it is. And I'm sure they get a lot more viewers if they were free. And I'm probably going to stop paying soon. Right now I'm just doing it because I love listening to the conservatives blather on about nothing. And unfortunately, there are not quite as many of them on normal radio. And I mean, Sean Hannity is just the worst example of conservatism. And I was badly misguided. I liked the guy early this season, and I feel so bad about that now. And I think the only reason I liked him was because he was attacking Hillary Clinton so eloquently. I did not like her at that point because it was a very bitter primary battle, I admit. I couldn't stand the sight of her. Whenever she'd come on screen, I would leave the room. But now that he's attacking Obama, and I admit this is a little immature, I simply can't stand him. And I don't think I'll ever be able to stand him. In fact, I know I won't because he's so obviously conservative and I'm so obviously a liberal. We just don't match. It's like marrying a squirrel. I'm sure some people have dreamed of that. I know I have. But I'm just going to say that some guy called in and said, what has McCain actually done? And Hannity said, he is a patriot, he's a war hero, he's a family man. And he had nothing more than that. That's about all he does have. Obama, on the other hand, has accomplished legislation. And in fact, McCain has accomplished maybe as much, if not less, major legislation as Obama. They've both done immigration reform, but Obama has done health care reform, which he doesn't just talk about, he has actions on that in his past. He has talked about nuclear proliferation, he cut down crime in Illinois, and that beautiful law, which I think was so necessary, to put cameras in crime scene interrogations, you know, where they law and order scenes, where the guys are slamming the table and the poor guy is sitting there sputtering his excuses. He made the law that puts a camera in there, so that we make sure there's no coalescing or coaxing information out of the poor victim, or a murderer in some cases. Also, he's going to be on Countdown with Keith Olbermann very soon. I love Olbermann, he's my guy. So I'm looking forward to that, and whatever clever attacks against McCain he has in store. So tonight, if you're listening, and I know not very many of you are, I just ask that you watch the convention tonight, and I hope that you continue to give me a chance, because I'm starting to get the hang of this. And I'm really enjoying talking to you, and I hope that we can start to have more of a discourse in the future. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Have a great time, and any suggestions you have for me, any debates you have in store, I look forward to those. God bless America.